What's up, guys? It's your boy Benny. It's nice to have things that are consistent in life, real totems that you can count on, like the sun will rise in the east, and the Pope is Catholic, and they rigged the 2020 election in Arizona against Kari Lake and the slate of candidates that was supposed to serve with her, including Abe Hamada, the Secretary of State, who is not the Secretary of State because of 200 votes. Oh, yeah. And they threw out thousands. Ladies and gentlemen, they straight up rigged it. Now, what do I mean by rigged? What do I mean by rigged? Well, there's a lot of things that we are learning now, including, but not limited to, the fact that the Arizona election was illegal based on a judge's ruling. Court finds Arizona's signature matching process unlawful in massive win for election integrity. And I'm going to get into that in just a second, but I want to note really definitively that I saw the rigging myself. What do I mean by that? I flew to Maricopa County the day of the election. I landed early in the morning. Long flight through the night. Got out of my car, went straight to a bunch of polling locations. I was there to do a number of different events. I was going to host, actually, the Kari Lake election night party, and I did host it. But, of course, you didn't get the results of that election for weeks afterwards. And what did I see? I saw lines longer than lines at a Chick-fil-A on Saturday night on the drunkest street in your town. I saw lines like I've never seen before. Chaos at the polls. The voter machines not working. Just pandemonium. I've never seen anything like it. I put it up on my story. It's like, this is not the way that American elections are supposed to go. People had ballots and envelopes. People didn't know what they were doing. All the machines were broken. That's what I mean by rigged. They went into the most populated counties and the suburbs inside of those counties, and the machines all stopped working all at the same time. When normal Republican voters, conservative voters, would be voting early in the morning on their way to work, late at night after work. Ooh, just so happens that you have massive malfunctions, and please give us all your votes to go bring them down to a tabulation center. Oh, man. So it's really wonderful for me to see a teeny shred, a glimmer of justice for somebody who I consider a friend, Kari Lake. Back to our story here, okay? That's my personal experience with this, so I got a bee in my bonnet, as they say, for this issue. A judge has found Arizona signature matching process in the mail-in ballots unlawful, delivering what plaintiffs in the lawsuit call a massive win for election integrity. Yavapai County Superior Court Judge Noah Napier issued a ruling last week in a lawsuit against the Arizona Secretary of State, Adrian Fontes, brought by Public Interest Group Restoring Integrity and Trust in Elections, against Mr. Fontes, saying that he broke the law regarding mail-in signature procedures. Specifically, the group argued that Mr. Fontes' interpretation of the registration record Secretary of State Procedures Manual unreasonably broad and improperly expanded the pool of signatures to which early ballot affidavit signatures could be compared, increasing the risk of false positives. While state law requires county recorders to match mail-in ballot signatures with signatures on the voter registration record, the Secretary instructed them to use broader, less reliable universal comparison signatures and thus violated state law. That means the Secretary is requiring ballots to be counted despite using the signatures that did not match anything in the voter's record, a clear violation of state law. D.C. Drano, who's been on this story from the get, another definitive ally of Kari Lake, Arizona state rules that Secretary of State has been using illegal signature verification methods for the past two elections. Ballot signatures weren't being matched with voter registrations in violation of state law. Arizona must fix before next election or the court will force them. This is why we fight election fraud in the courts. So, big win here, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you could ask, why is it, and here's the actual order, in case you'd like to read it. Not terribly long, 5 pages. In case you're wondering, and Kari Lake here saying the court found that Arizona signature matching is unlawful. Court said that the statute is clear and unambiguous, requiring the recorder to review the voter registration card, not other documents with the voter signature. Judge further noted there is no ambiguity in this statute or process. So, chipping away. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to ask yourself a question here, which is, why is it that the former Secretary of State, her name's Katie Hobbs, she is the current governor of Arizona, why was she allowed to count the ballots in her own election? Right? Doesn't that seem like a just blatant, on its face conflict of interest? Important court victory in Arizona against the state's unlawful signature matching project. I mean, shouldn't you actually, like, if you are overseeing your election, and Katie Hobbs is a deeply unpopular, didn't campaign, much like Joe Biden, didn't campaign, never was on the campaign trail, is deeply creepy, weird loser, who's a complete dork, that nobody liked, had absolutely zero appeal. Meanwhile, Kari Lake delivering absolute burners like this one.
Hi.
Hey, nice to see you. CNN.
You don't have a mask on anymore. What's going
We're
on?
outside. Do you have a minute to
Well,
chat?
we're 6 feet apart.
Do you have a minute to chat?
I'll do an interview.
Okay.
As long as it airs on CNN Plus. Does that still exist? I didn't think so, because the people don't like what you guys are peddling,
So-
which is propaganda. Thank you.
Do you?
Remember what they stole from us. Remember what they stole from us, ladies and gentlemen. Kari Lake was running against Katie Hobbs. Kari Lake was speaking to tens of thousands of people. Kari Lake had packed out arenas. Again, I saw people standing in line to try and vote for Kari Lake, and they just got frustrated and walked away. I saw the people do it. I saw it with my own eyes. And then there's been sworn affidavits, thousands of them, of people who couldn't vote at their polling places because the machines were broken. And you're telling me that Katie Hobbs defeated Kari Lake? Nope, don't think so. Nope. And it is a massive conflict of interest that she was put in charge of her own election counting. Why isn't that illegal? The level of savagery in Kari Lake should be illegal. Check this out.
Proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that our elections are a mess. We've shown and we've proved with evidence that chain of custody wasn't followed. We've proven that signature verification is a joke, that it's not even being done, that it's not being done properly when it is being done.
Kari Lake is right, of course. There is another person who is running as sort of a slate ticket with Kari Lake, somebody named Abe Hamada. Abe Hamada was supposed to be, and arguably is, the rightful Secretary of State. They threw out 9,000 uncounted ballots. Why would they do that? Abe is just 280 votes behind, and the Democrat Secretary of State knows there are still 9,000 uncounted ballots that they tossed out. It's almost like they wait until they get the result that they want, and then they stop counting. Democrats 100% stole the Arizona Attorney General election from Abe Hamada, says Mike Davis. They intentionally disenfranchised Maricopa County voters on Election Day. I literally witnessed that. After machines malfunctioned due to printing wrong-sized ballots, voters went to different locations to vote. They were turned away as they were checked in at their first location. Democrats, including Mark Kelly, opposed a modest request to extend voting by a few hours. They're still hiding 9,000 votes. Democracy. Abe Hamada releasing this final judgment signed, saying, in a rare show of bipartisanship, attorneys for my litigation team and Adrian Fontes working together on a joint motion, final judgment, we are now able to proceed to the next steps in our election challenge in the Court of Appeals. Well, good. I'm committed to ensuring that the will of the people is honored. Arizona's Constitution demands it. We will fight to count the remaining 9,000 uncounted ballots that were withheld from our attorneys and the court. The government does grave harm to its legitimacy when it withholds evidence. Democracy dies in darkness too. So does justice. Well, good. Hopefully Abe Hamada will actually win. This guy, you should totally follow him. He's a bad. I love this guy. You know you're losing, of course, when the normies are starting to wake up. Joe Rogan saying, yeah, there's something deeply wrong with the Arizona election.
Much election fraud do you think is real?
Here we go, Joe. You want to go to election fraud?
Yeah, because I don't think it's zero.
No,
It's
no
not
way.
zero. I think we could all agree it's not zero.
No way it's not zero.
And we know that these voting machines can be f***ed with.
Yeah.
And we know that there's some irregularities, all that Kari Lake stuff in Arizona that they're trying to dismiss. It doesn't look like that's invalid. It looks like there's real fraud there. It looks like there's some real shenanigans there. At the very least, there was voting machines that weren't working properly, and it seems very suspicious that a lot of them were in Republican areas. There's a lot of shenanigans. And I think there's coordinated efforts to make sure that certain people get elected. I don't know how far they go, but I know it's not zero.
In fact, in Arizona, the Associated Press has reported that a woman is now facing federal prison sentences for vote rigging in Arizona, not in Maricopa County, in a different county. But this was, of course, a Democrat poll runner who was filling out ballots for people outside and casting illegal ballots. Ladies and gentlemen, now facing prison time for rigging elections. Joe Rogan says, I know it's not zero, and I know it was messed up. This is what waking up the normies looks like, and we are here for it. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe to end the communism that's going on in Arizona and all across America. See ya.